One movie world I would love to be in is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. That's a franchise I literally grew up with, and like many, I probably fantasize what classes I'd be taking, what pets I would have, the wand, all that. I already know what house I belong to, that's
Gryffindor!
But I feel like one thing people don't actually fantasize about is whether or not they would be on the Quidditch team. And I feel like I would. I mean, look at me, I'm an athlete. If I were to be a character from the movies, I would probably be the nice guy from the Quidditch team who gets killed for no reason in the 4th movie.
That's my son! That's my boy!
But luckily, to have the Quidditch team experience, I don't have to die. I just have to load up a game. So let's take a look back at the Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. Harry Potter's Quidditch World Cup released back in 2003 for all the major consoles of the time, PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox, and even Game Boy and PC. It's developed by EA Games, who developed the movie title games and had some experience in sports titles, so this marriage makes sense. As you enter the game, you're greeted by Potter, and I really do love the faithfulness to the lore here. He really does look like a kid that spent his entire life locked in the cupboard under the stairs. So Cursed Harry tells you to select what house you want. You do some of the tutorial challenges, facing off against the other houses, then you're off to face them in the Hogwarts Cup. Once you beat that Slytherin ass, you get to go and support whatever team you like at the World Cup. As you play, you get awarded cards. There are a total of 104 cards offering a bunch of replayability, but the game basically comes down to a 7-on-7 match. You have 3 attackers. These are the ones that are passing the quaffle around and trying to score. Each shot made is worth 10 points. They can also steal the quaffle away. Then you have the 2 beaters who hit the bludgers to the opponent team's attackers. You also have the keeper, aka the goalie, aka the portero. And you have a seeker who chases the snitch around. So depending on what you're doing in the game is who you're controlling. Flying is a bit sensitive, but in a good way. It's really responsive. I never really went where I wasn't supposed to. I always felt like I was in control. Passing is something you kind of have to get used to. You hold down the button for the amount of power for the pass, and you can aim at who you want to pass it to. Only while holding down the button does the reticle pop up to who you're going to pass it to. You won't know if and who you can pass it to until you start holding down the button. And you can't do that forever because they will automatically throw the quaffle, resulting in the other team getting it. But while in range, aiming does work surprisingly well. The tough part is when you're so close to the rings and you don't have space to spread out and to actually see your teammates. Also, once you're in range, you can shoot at the rings with a similar mechanic. There's a little time while holding down the button for the power shot. In that time, you have to aim. Again, you can't just sit there in front of the rings and try to fake out the keeper by switching between targets forever because the player will shoot it. Meanwhile, the other team is trying to tackle you and send bludgers after you. So basically, for any of these other actions, you have to build up to it. You can dodge, which gives you a little bit of a boost. You can also hold down the trigger for a loop-de-loop. You have the bludgers where you send them out and you're now controlling them, trying to hit the attacker. And the other action performed with the circle button in the PlayStation 2 is both different on offense and on defense. On defense, you throw out like this tornado reticle thing, and if you hit them with it, you trigger a cinematic cutscene where you just take the quaffle away. And on offense, you trigger another cutscene scoring. But you must be in range to do so, because there's also the special attack where by pressing both triggers no matter where you are at the pitch, you do this game breaker like cinematic where you score. What I did like about this is that each team has its own cinematic and is very thematic to the team, which is pretty cool. By doing this, it also raises your snitch bar and lowers theirs. But if you want to do none of that and just want to be boring and just score, you can do that too. That's what I did at the beginning. It's very easy just to run up on them, steal the quaffle, turn around and score. You don't even have to pass the ball if you don't want to. You can go all Kobe and fly up to the rings and shoot.
Kobe!
But doing so won't add nothing to the snitch bar above. So this is one of my main things from the Harry Potter series. I always thought it was dumb that you just catch the snitch and you win. So what's the point of the rest of the whole game? Well, the snitch just awards you 150 points, and the game ends at that point. So you can score more than 150 points and shut them out, and it won't even matter if they get the snitch. But how it works in the game is that you kind of get awarded these style points, which makes your half of the snitch move. Once the snitch is completed, the snitch is released, and now you must catch it. You have a boost bar that fills up while you're in the yellow streak, plus there are these white sparkle things that also helps you fill up the boost bar as well. You're both chasing it, so once you're close enough to this little bastard, you press the button and grab it and have your 150 points and the game ends. So there was more strategy to the game than I thought, because a team whose bar is bigger gets a boost advantage in the snitch minigame, so you want to score with the combos to add to your snitch bar. And you do so by holding down a trigger and passing the ball. You can also tap for volleys, and the same thing with the shooting. You can shoot it kind of stylishly or tap it off of a volley for a fire shot. You'll know you're doing the combo because of giant combo letters will pop up in the middle of the screen. Teams will also kind of play you a little bit different. In this game particularly, I was whooping their ass, but they got the snitch, so I end up losing. They were focusing more on making combos and not really scoring. Also, some teams feel like they're just going to get the snitch no matter what. Here, I had Japan flying to the snitch way faster than me while we had the same amount of boost, so I found it to be a little suspect. And one other time that I don't think I captured, they had no bar, and they still beat me to the snitch. But the score was 250 to 0, so their 150 did absolutely nothing. So once everything comes together, there's actually some bit of fun to be had here. Yeah, the screen gets messy at times with a lot going on, but the game isn't bad. And it makes up for the presentation. There's a lot of theatrics at the beginning of the match with them coming in, and those cinematics I mentioned. The solo ones kind of repeat themselves, but that's still okay. And they were as faithful to the movie as they could be. I did wish that it featured a little bit more Harry Potter Hogwartsy music, but the classic song that they selected oddly fits. There are different announcers as well. There's one main guy and then some other person representing another country, but it all adds to the immersion. There's even different refs. This guy really looked like Thane from Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, so that's pretty cool. I mean, Madden doesn't even do different refs. We had the same ref for years. So in the Hogwarts Cup, there are only 3 rounds. You win that, you head over to the World Cup. You pick which country you want to be. Of course, I picked USA. USA. Gotta be honest, if there was a Mexico, I probably would have picked them, especially if they had their own announcer. The other countries are England, Japan, Germany, France, Australia, the Nordic team, Spain, and you have to unlock Bulgaria with cards. And there's a final secret boss, which is a doped up Russian squad. Nah, kidding. There's no cheating allowed in Wizarding World, so they're not even in the game. I did like the country fake flags. Those were really cool. I really love that each team has its own stadium that has a ton of detail. That is really cool. Their unis are thematic as well. And in the World Cup, there are actually 18 rounds, so you actually get to see them all, which is really fun. You finish on top of the leaderboard and you win. It's very simple. I did wish there was a little bit more to it, like maybe having stats for players, make players feel faster, have better passing and shooting, maybe provide better control over the bludger, at least add something. Maybe the cards add some sort of boost to you if you equip them. I don't know, something. Maybe let me create a whole team and customize them. I don't know. I was missing a lot more. It's not really a wild ask because they did have NBA Street 1 and 2 out by now, and you could do all those things and much more. But I do wonder what the game would have been if it was made by EA Sports Big instead.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I guess Quidditch is not extreme enough. I will say I was surprised because the game is playable and offers a few hours of fun at least. But let me know your thoughts. What do you remember about the game? If you played it, if you didn't, of course, rep your house down in the comments. And when you're down there, I just put a subscribe-yo spell on your ass, so you have to subscribe now to the channel. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, you do you.